everybody and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I thought in honour of Valentine's Day, I would do my top 14 romance books. Now these aren't in any particular order, these are just like my top 14 favourites. These are all books that I've read in the last couple of years and I've just absolutely adored them. So yeah, I thought I would get onto this wearing my lovely romance reader t-shirt because it felt very appropriate for the video. Literature to Stitches, part of the Ellen Catherine collection. You should go and check it out. I will link Literature to Stitches website below. But yes, let's get on with these books. Now, like I said, none of these are in any particular order. They are just my top 14 favourites. So I'm just going to grab the first one off of the pile and then talk about it. So, yeah. Okay, so first up we have Hopeless by Elsie Silver. This is the fifth and final book in the Chestnut Springs series. And this is a very unpopular opinion, but this is my favourite book in the Chestnut Springs, universe, like the Chestnut Springs series. I loved this one so much. I was genuinely so obsessed with it. Now I know this is actually, I think, a lot of people's least favourite, but to me this is my favourite book in the series. I love Beau, I love Bailey, I just love them as a couple and their dynamic. I thought they were really fun and I really liked them. So yeah, this was definitely my favourite in that series. And honestly, the Chestnut Springs series is kind of what made me fall in love with cowboy romances, and this is definitely my favourite book in that series, and it made me want to read more cowboy romance books. So yes, that's the first one. Okay, my next one is probably another unpopular opinion for a lot of people, because this is, I think, a lot of people's least favourite, but this is my favourite in this series, and that is Daydream by Hannah Grace. Now, I know a lot of people still liked this book, but this was a lot of people's least favourite because they felt like the characters had changed way too much from the first two books in the series. I don't think that's true. I absolutely loved this book. I loved Henry and Hallie. I loved their relationship and I loved Henry's character. I related to him a lot with how he feels and how a lot of situations overstimulate him or just make him feel uncomfortable, or he just sometimes doesn't really have a filter. I really, really loved this. I loved this book so freaking much. I adored it, and when I finished reading this, I had no one to talk to, but then my friend Cam read it and they loved it as well, just as much as me, and they agreed that this is their favourite as well. So Cam, if you see this, I love you, and we have very similar opinions, and that is amazing. But you know, I absolutely adored this book, and I loved the characters. I loved this book, and I thought it was a perfect way to round up that little trilogy. I am sad this series is over because now I can't read it anymore for the first time, but I may just do a reread at some point just because of how obsessed I am. For the next two books, I'm going to do them together because they are book 2 and 3 in the same series, but we have The Right Move and Caught Up by Liz Tom Ford. These are book 2 and 3 in the Windy City series. I'm obsessed. Now, I'm obsessed with every single book in that series. I gave them all 5 stars. It's honestly one of my all-time favourite sports romance series. But these two are my favourite. Ryan Shea is the perfect man, and no one can tell me otherwise. I adore him with my entire heart. He is so sweet and kind and funny, and I love him. He's amazing. And then this one has the single parent trope, and I just love the relationship between Kai and Miller and Max, Kai's little boy. I'm obsessed. I love the characters, I love this world, I love these stories, and I need book 5 in this series, which is called Rewind It Back, to come out right now, right this second. I'm just obsessed and I need the next book, but it doesn't come out until I think May time. But yeah, no, these two are just so amazing. I love the stories. I know a lot of people don't really like the first book in this series, Mile High. I still genuinely really love Mile High, and I gave it a 5 stars. But even if you don't enjoy Mile High as that much, it's worth reading that book to get to these two, and the third one and the fourth one in the series. Play along just because they're incredible, and it's such an amazing series, and it has a very, even though it has romance, it also has a really strong aspect of found family as well, and it's so good. I love it. Okay, up next is a book that I have not been able to stop thinking about since I finished reading it. God, I think in like June of last year, and that is Keeping 13 by Chloe Walsh. Now, this is book number 2 in the Boys of Tommen series. Now, I am completely up to date with this series, and even though I adore the entire series is a 5-star series for me. This book right here has held strong as being my favourite in the entire series. Now, I love Joey and Aoife, and I love their books, and I loved reading Claire and Gibbs's story in Taming Seven, but there's just something about Johnny and Shannon that holds a really special place in my heart, especially them in this book. I absolutely adored it. I love them. I love their characters, and I can't stop thinking about this book. I want to reread this entire series again, and I only finished reading the last book in this series last month, but they're just so special to me. The characters are so incredible, and it's such a beautiful and like moving story. I would say definitely check up your trigger warnings before you read this series, because it does cover a lot of very heavy topics. But if you think you'll be able to handle reading this series, I would definitely say pick it up, just because the characters and the world is incredible, and I'm obsessed, and I honestly feel like I'm probably going to do a reread of at least Keeping and of Binding and Keeping very, very soon, just because I want to highlight and annotate them and add my own little notes, just because I'm completely obsessed with the books and the world. Okay, so the next two aren't in the same series, but they're part of the same universe, so I'm going to put them in together. And that is The Score by Al Kennedy and The Dixon Rule by Al Kennedy. So The Score is book number 3 in the off-campus book series. And when I originally read this book, I did not like it that much. But the more I think about it, the more I realised how obsessed I actually am with it. And I think that I just was being delulu when I gave this originally a 4-star, because this is definitely like a 6-star read for me. I love Dean and Ellie so much. I love this book. I love these characters. I love this relationship. And I think it's just so amazing and iconic. And I think the reason I gave it a 4 stars is because it took me so long to read, because I didn't really like Dean at first. But I was wrong. I happily admit I was wrong, and I adored this. And I love them as a couple. Dean is not my favourite off-campus boy. That will forever be John Logan, but this is my favourite off-campus book. And then we have The Dixon Rule, which is book 2 in the Campus Diary series. Now, this is the spin-off of, like, the Next Generation spin-off series of Off Campus and Briar U. This is book 2, and I just was obsessed with the relationship between Shane and Diana in this book. I am absolutely obsessed with it. Now, book 3 in this series is due to come out very, very soon, and I'm really excited for that one, so I think it may change my standing on my favourite. But as of right now, this is definitely a favourite for me, and I absolutely adore it, and I love the characters with my entire heart and soul, and I can't wait for book 3, and it's just incredible. Okay, so we're now on to number 8 of my top 14. I can't believe I've already gone through half my list already. So the next one on this list is one that I read very, very recently, actually. I read it within the last couple of weeks. I actually read it this month, and that is Play With Me by Becca Mack. Now, this is book 2 in the Play for Keeps series, and I did not think that this would become an all-time favourite book after reading the first one, but I was very much proven wrong. So I read the first book in this series in January, I think, or was it actually, no, I think it was last year. I think I actually read it last year. I think I read it in December of last year, which was Consider Me, and I gave that, I think, a 3.75. I just wasn't really a fan of the main guy, and I didn't really like the pacing of that book. But this one right here, this book is absolutely phenomenal. I love the characters so much. I love Garrett and I love Jenny with my entire being. I relate to Jenny so freaking much with how she feels and how she acts and how she handles her emotions and everything. I just really relate to her so much as a character, and I could really empathize with everything she was like feeling and how she was like reacting to certain things. And Garrett is honestly, he is so down bad for this girl. He is so obsessed. He's literally golden retriever energy. And I know I'm not normally a fan of golden retrievers, I'm not gonna lie. I normally like my guys to be more on the arsehole side of the spectrum, but this boy has made me love my golden retriever sunshine boys. He's amazing. I love him. I'm obsessed with him. I normally love my guys to be grumpy. He is not grumpy. He is a sunshine little baby, and I'm obsessed with him. But yeah, no, this book was incredible. I absolutely love it, and it's made me more excited to read the rest of the series. I think I'm going to pick up book 3 in this series very soon, which is Unravel Me. But I absolutely adored this, and I did not think this was going to be in my top 14 books, but it happened, and I'm in love. Also, I think this book is absolutely gorgeous because I love the cover and everything about it. It's just so pretty. Okay, the next book on this list should not come as a surprise to anybody considering how much I talk about this book, but we have Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. Now, this is a book that I read in September of last year, and I have not stopped thinking about this goddamn book since I read it. It's honestly one of my all-time favourite romances. It has one of my favourite tropes, which is the accidental pregnancy trope. It has phenomenal banter. The guy is top-notch. He is so amazing. He's so fun. I love the story. I love the characters. I loved everything about it. I loved getting to just read their story, and I'm so obsessed. Like, ever since I finished reading this book, I wanted to reread it again straight away. I haven't yet. I'm probably going to reread this very, very soon because, like I said, I'm obsessed. But yeah, no, this book, I find it to be absolutely phenomenal. I would definitely say everyone should go and read this book, because if you love a down bad guy who is funny and sweet, you love amazing banter, you love the pregnancy trope, or even if you don't love the pregnancy trope, this has made a lot of people who don't even like the pregnancy trope love it. Well, not love it, but like also like not really care that it's there. And also, if you love a story with amazing disability representation, then you should go and read this book because it's absolutely phenomenal. I had the best time reading it, and it's honestly gonna always be one of my top romance books that I've ever read. Okay, so the next book on this list is not only one that holds such a special place in my heart because of the person who recommended it to me, but also because this is the book that made me fall in love with sports romance. But that is Say You Swear by Megan Brandy. Now, this is the first ever sports romance book I ever read, and it made me fall in love with the genre. Now, everyone knows that this book was recommended to me by one of my amazing friends, Geordie. She recommended this to me before we were even friends. It was on a video that I did on my channel very early, which was my favourite booktokers recommended me books to read. Now, I read this and I absolutely loved it. This is the first book that's ever made me like properly tear up and cry a bit. I love the characters. I love the story. I reread this last year and it was just phenomenal. I loved it because I reread it last year because I highlighted and annotated it for Geordie for her birthday. And this is the first book recommendation Geordie ever gave me, and it's honestly the reason why I take her recommendations, because I fell in love with this so freaking much, and anytime she recommends me a book, 9 out of 10 times I absolutely love it. I think there's only been one book that I just haven't really enjoyed as much, but I still enjoy the series and I still like reading the series. So, but you know, this is just amazing. I love this book. I love the characters in this book. It means a lot to me, and I have loved reading it, and I want to reread it again, even though I've already read this book twice. I was a little let down by the second book in the series, but we look past that. I'm still going to continue the series because book 3 follows Cam, who is one of the main characters in this book, and I love her. So yeah, no, I absolutely adore this. This book made me fall in love with sports romance, and it's what got me on my sports romance journey, because I read this originally, I think at the end of 2023, and then when I went into 2024, I read a lot of sports romance. So yeah, this is an amazing book, and I would definitely say go and read this book because it is amazing. Okay, so next is a book that I've never actually mentioned before, and that's because I read this series before I even started this YouTube channel. But this is my favourite book in this series, and that is Twisted Hate by Anna Huang. This is book 3 in the Twisted series, and it's my favourite out of all of them. I think my ranking from favourite to least favourite in that series goes Twisted Hate, Twisted Games, Twisted Love, and then Twisted Lies. I really do not like Twisted Lies. But I absolutely adored this book. I found it phenomenal. I love Josh Chen so freaking much, and I love Jules so much. I just love her with my entire being. I'm so excited that this series is getting turned into, I don't know if it's going to be a TV show or a movie, I can't remember, but I'm so excited because I cannot wait to see this couple. That's if it carries on long enough for this couple, because they are my favourite. I just had the best time. I love them. I love this book so much. I love Josh and Jules' relationship. They're really fiery. There is one scene in this book, if you've read it, you'll understand why I got very mad at Josh during that scene, but I still love it, and he is still okay, actually, he's not my favourite guy. My favourite guy is Reese. But this is my favourite book and my favourite couple in that series. But, you know, I just love it. It's absolutely phenomenal, and I think everyone should just read the Twisted series because it's really good. I really enjoyed it. Okay, up next we have... I wasn't really sure whether to conclude this one in as a romance, but I would say it is a romance. It just covers a lot of more like harder topics as well. But that is Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. I read this last year. I think I read it for a video on my channel, and I absolutely loved this book. I loved the characters. I loved the story. I genuinely just really loved reading this book. I was obsessed with it from the second I picked it up, and I would definitely say to read this. Just check your trigger warnings before you do. I realise I said that about quite a few books in this video, but you know, I like me a book that's a little bit sad sometimes, but I love this book. I love it so much, and it's honestly one of my favourite like little romance books ever. And also it's a standalone, so if you read this you don't have to read an entire series, which I'm realising almost every single book in this video has had a series or a sequel to it, apart from these last two the last one I'm about to mention and that one. Okay, so we're now on to the last book for this video. This is another one that holds a very special place in my heart because of the person who told me to read it, but also because this is the book that got me into one of my all-time favourite tropes. And it's maybe the book that has my least favourite cover, but we look past that because I'm obsessed with this book. And that is 1% of You by Michelle Gross. This is a single parent romance that has grumpy sunshine characters, amazing kids with phenomenal banter, and I am absolutely obsessed with this book. Like, I'm in love with it. I'm in love with the characters. I just love everything about it. So this was another one that I read in my video of reading books that was recommended to me by my favourite booktokers, and this was recommended to me by the lovely Em. Obviously, as you all know, Em is one of my amazing friends. And this is the book that got me obsessed with the single parent trope. Before I read this book, I'd never read a single parent trope book, and now it is my honestly all-time favourite trope in a book. I know it's not a very popular trope for people, but for me it's amazing and I'm obsessed with it. You know, I absolutely adored this book. I read this book in a single sitting. I love the characters. I love everything about it. This copy of it was actually gifted to me by Em. So I have keep the little gift note in the front of the book, but I read this for my channel and I love it so much, and I keep telling myself to reread this book, but I've got so many books on my physical TBR that I keep stopping myself from reading it, and I need to not do that because I need to just read it. I need to read it again because it's so amazing and I'm obsessed with it. But you know, that is the last book for this video. So those are my 14 favorite romance books. I have a lot more favorite romance books, but I couldn't include them all in this video because I wanted to do just 14 for Valentine's Day. I hope everyone has a lovely Valentine's Day with whoever you're celebrating with, whether that's a partner or you're just celebrating with someone who you love. I know that I am giving my mum a Valentine's Day gift because we are celebrating Galentine's and she's got me a gift. And I know a lot of people just associate Valentine's Day with romantic love, but I associate it with also family love or platonic love. But yeah, that is the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like, comment and subscribe and hit that little notification bell so you know when I upload. I upload every Friday at 6 p.m. And yeah, that is it for the video. I will catch you guys next time.